So your parents were okay with everything, right? Like
Yes.
that the transition was slow enough for them to slowly accept the fact that you were changing.
They were happy because I've always been a happy person. I always have a smile on my face, and they saw
It's
that
true.
Islam.
She does.
And they saw that Islam made me even happier. And the only concern that my mom had was that people would be mean to me if they found out that I was Muslim and when I began wearing the scarf, because she was afraid that someone would say something that would hurt my feelings and I would get upset. That was her only, hesitation in it.
And then what happened?
And then I moved back from Kuwait, and I said, I love my parents so much that I want this for them. And so I tried my best to be as good a Muslim as I could. So I would talk about prayer, and I would teach them, I would talk about a hadith a day, and I would teach them as much as I could about Islam.
By practice, though, not
Yes.
preaching.
No.
Yeah.
By saying, I really don't want to do this, but you're my parents and I love you, and part of being a good Muslim is respecting your parents. Just very practical, everyday things.
That's a nice one.
One of the best times to make dua is when it rains, so maybe we should make dua for people who are watching this.
I agree. You go ahead.
May Allah increase us in our faith and our iman and help us to earn His mercy and inshallah enter Jannah together. So I teach the kindergarten Sunday school class. It's more babies. And my father decided that he wanted to join along, and so for the past 2 years he sat in with the high school class, and it was there he was able to ask some questions, and he continued to learn. And it wasn't until he unexpectedly passed out at work, had to be rushed to the hospital, where he was 100% sure that he wanted to become Muslim. I got a call at work. My mom said, we don't know what's wrong with him. He's in the emergency room. Please pray for him. And, as my heart dropped into my stomach, she said, but he took his shahada. And, alhamdulillah. So after, I talked to him, and he said, I was sure, I was just putting it off, and I didn't want to die a non-Muslim.
Yeah. That's so awesome. And then, what was the purifying?
Okay, so we didn't know that he had liver cancer. This is a man who never drank. He never had hepatitis. So it was a very, very rare liver cancer that doctors really couldn't they were very confused by it. And while he was in the ICU, he memorized Surah Ikhlas. And after reading some of the tafsir of this surah, it's called like a purity surah. And alhamdulillah, he's been cancer free.
Alhamdulillah.
For the past 2 years. So,
Yay.
yay, daddy.
He's so nice, mashallah. And then what about your mom?
And so my mom grew a little envious. She was able to see my dad and I really bonding over Islam. And for a long while, she learned about religion. She brought up...
Jake!
Stop. She was brought up Catholic. She went to a Wiccan church. And her thoughts have always been out of the box. She's a holistic nurse. She deals with alternative medicine. And the more she began to learn about Islam, the more she would say, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I believe. So, alhamdulillah, after last Ramadan, she accepted Islam.
Oh, last Ramadan was a great one. Okay, so what would you say to people who, like me, whose family is not Muslim, and they're not hesitant, but definitely not as open to it?
I would say be who you are, but be an even better version of you.
Yeah.
And let them see that Islam has made you better.
Yeah.
And let them see that it's made you more respectful. Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
So let them see that Islam has made you a better person. They've made you a better daughter or sister or wife or friend, whatever it's going to be, and just set a good example.
Again, like, don't preach,
Don't say you
Practice.
need to do this.
Yeah.
Say this is what I'm doing, and I hope you see that Islam has made me better.
Yeah, because for me, my personality, if someone starts preaching to me, my ears automatically close to whatever they're saying, even if it's the truth. They'll automatically shut off, and I will automatically be in that position where I don't want to listen anymore. You know, because they get into the point where I'm right, you're wrong. Instead, if you lead by example, they're like, well, what is this? They're more curious about what is making you so amazing, mashallah. And that is Islam. So inshallah, through practice, not preaching, we can all become better people. And inshallah, have people become curious and want to learn more about it. Inshallah. Yay. I love that story. Her story about her family is just, so
awesome.
Amazing. It is awesome. Alhamdulillah. Alrighty. And then, so, what would you say that you learned when you were in Kuwait, like, was something that you thought was so pivotal to who you are today, being amongst all those Muslims?
It made me not be shy about my faith. I never felt like I had to hide it or be ashamed of it. And that was where I became really, really comfortable with it. You know, I was able to walk out in hijab and not feel like everyone's eyes were on me. I was able to see that I was treated so much more respectfully over there by men than I was here.
Yeah, I agree. Even here in hijab, you're treated with more respect than other women.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
And I was able to see what it's like to live in a country where your religion is a main part of your life, instead of something that you can talk about only at home when you're not at work.
Yep, because the three things you're not allowed to talk about in polite society are religion, politics, and sex.
I thought it was money.
Really? I always grew up with those three.
Okay.
Well, we'll add a fourth, money.
Money.
Which doesn't matter where you are. You shouldn't talk about that anyways. Okay. So it was sort of just living in that so faith-based society.
You know, hearing the call to prayer and seeing how people would close up their shops because it was time to pray. And I met some wonderful, wonderful people there. I met a family who I couldn't really communicate with because they only spoke Arabic. I knew their daughter. This was a couple who's in their 70s, and they send almost all of their money to people in Palestine. And just so generous. You know, they would pick me up and have me over for dinner, even though our conversations would just be smiling at each other.
And that's the best, isn't it?
And then, you know, they took me out and they bought me 2 abayas so that I could feel comfortable.
Aww,
you know, and
that's very sweet.
I still have them. I'm gonna wear one to Tarawih tonight. Inshallah.
Oh yay! You'll have to show me.
It's pretty.
Okay. Now,
just incredibly generous, beautiful people.